Brian stood by the front door of his house, staring at the packed boxes and the for sale sign in the yard. His parents were busy with the movers, and he felt a familiar pang of sadness as he prepared to leave yet another home behind. His friends from the previous date had promised to keep in touch, but Brian knew the reality of their distance. Brian's family arrived at their new house, and he stepped out of the car, feeling the weight of uncertainty. The house was larger, and the new neighborhood seemed quieter than his old one. As he looked around, he felt the familiar ache of starting over, knowing he would need to adjust to a new school and make new friends, which always seemed like an impossible task. Brian's father sat down with him in his new room, surrounded by unpacked boxes. He noticed Brian's despondent expression and suggested he find solace in books. Books can be a person's best friend, he said, encouraging Brian to explore stories that might offer him comfort and adventure. With his father's encouragement, Brian visited a local bookstore. He roamed the aisles, drawn to the colorful covers and intriguing titles. Brian's father asked him about the types of books he liked, and Brian chose an adventure book, feeling a spark of excitement as he imagined the adventures he would experience through its pages. Brian settled into his new room with his first adventure book in hand. As he turned the pages, he was immediately transported to a distant land. The words on the page came to life, and Brian felt as though he was stepping into a world filled with mystery and excitement. The book became his escape from the loneliness of moving. The adventure in Brian's book took him into a dense jungle, where he navigated through thick vines and encountered exotic creatures. Brian felt the thrill of danger and discovery, living each moment as if he were the brave explorer in the story, overcoming challenges and finding hidden treasures. At his new school, Brian found it hard to connect with his classmates. He kept to himself, immersing himself in his books during lunch breaks. One day, a classmate noticed the book Brian was reading and struck up a conversation. They discovered a shared love for adventure stories and began to bond over their favorite characters and plots. Brian discovered a local library and spent hours exploring its vast collection. He eagerly borrowed more adventure books, each one offering a new world to explore. The library became a sanctuary where Brian could lose himself in stories and temporarily forget the difficulties of moving. Brian's next book took him to a grand castle, where he played the role of a knight on a quest to rescue a captured princess. He faced dragons and solved ancient riddles, feeling the rush of excitement and the satisfaction of triumph as he completed his quest within the pages. Another adventure led Brian to a secret island, where he discovered hidden caves and ancient artifacts. The sense of exploration and the thrill of uncovering secrets made Brian feel like a true adventurer. The excitement of the journey became a source of joy and escape from his reality. Brian's father took him to a book fair, where Brian's eyes widened at the sight of so many books. He eagerly picked out new adventure titles and met authors who shared their experiences and inspirations. The fair was a celebration of reading, and Brian left with a sense of anticipation for the new adventures awaiting him. In his latest book, Brian found himself in a battle of wits with a cunning opponent. The story tested his problem-solving skills and his ability to think quickly. As Brian navigated through challenges and outsmarted his adversary, he felt a sense of accomplishment and intellectual growth. Brian's family was on the move again, this time to a new state. The process was becoming all too familiar, but Brian was prepared. His collection of adventure books was packed carefully, and he looked forward to diving into new stories as he settled into yet another new place. In his new home, Brian found comfort in his routine of reading. The transition was smoother this time, as he had learned to find solace in his books. His favorite adventure series awaited him, promising new journeys and escapades to enjoy. Brian's new adventure book transported him to an enchanted forest. He joined a group of magical creatures on a quest to save their home from an evil sorcerer. Brian's imagination soared as he became part of a world where magic and bravery were essential. Brian joined a book club at the local community center. The club met regularly to discuss their favorite reads and share recommendations. Brian made new friends who shared his passion for adventure stories, and the club became a highlight of his week. In his next book, Brian embarked on a space mission. He piloted a spaceship through distant galaxies, encountering alien civilizations and exploring new worlds. The sense of discovery and the challenges of space travel ignited Brian's sense of wonder and excitement. Brian's latest adventure book was about a treasure hunt. He followed clues and solved puzzles, each step bringing him closer to hidden riches. The thrill of the hunt and the satisfaction of solving mysteries made Brian feel like a true detective. Brian's reading continued to offer him a diverse range of experiences. From underwater cities to ancient ruins, each book took him to new and exciting places. His adventures through these stories enriched his life and broadened his horizons. In one of his books, Brian followed the journey of a young hero who overcame great odds to save their world. Brian saw parallels between the hero's struggles and his own experiences of moving and adapting. The story inspired him to face his challenges with courage and resilience. Brian began sharing his favorite books with his new friends. They formed a small group to read and discuss their adventures together. The shared experiences strengthened their bonds and allowed Brian to connect with others through their mutual love of reading. Brian's next adventure took him to a fantasy realm filled with mythical creatures and epic battles. He played the role of a brave warrior fighting to restore peace to the land. The immersive experience allowed Brian to live out his wildest fantasies. Brian read about an expedition to a remote and uncharted land. The challenges faced by the explorers mirrored his own experiences of navigating new places and cultures. The story reinforced Brian's appreciation for the resilience and adaptability required in both fiction and reality. Brian's love for reading continued to grow as he discovered new genres and authors. Each new book added depth to his understanding of different worlds and perspectives. Brian's reading journey had become an integral part of his life, providing joy and companionship. As Brian settled into yet another new home, he reflected on the role that reading had played in his life. Books had been his constant companion, offering adventure, solace, and a sense of belonging. Brian understood that reading was not just an escape, but a powerful tool for personal growth and connection.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fun songs as well as interesting and enjoyable stories.